evening to all tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. Thanks for tuning in to Valley Grown. I'm your host, Caitlin Bautista from Bakersfield, California. Here at Valley Grown, we believe that real change and growth come from conversations rooted in understanding. Part of that growth is learning how to communicate with people different from you, such as from different generations. We're talking about generations today and all of our experiences. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to INCRadio DZEM 954. And of course, I'm not alone. I'm with my lovely co-hosts, Melvie, Melanie, and Jill. Let's say hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Thank you again for tuning in. We greatly appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and dive into our conversation. So the first question I want to ask all of you is, what generation are you a part of, and what makes your generation unique?
I can go first. So my name is Jill San Antonio, as you all know. I am a millennial. So I grew up in the sweet spot, as I call it, more of like the middle of the internet and the social boom. So I experienced both more old school, yet also as our way of connecting through digital. So we weren't like writing letters to each other, but at the same time, we were barely getting our feet wet when it comes to social media and technology.
Yes, of course, kind of like dipping your toes in the water. I love that.
Yeah, and Jill, I am also a millennial. I'm actually at the borderline starting. And so we definitely were still before Facebook. I was able to have like slam book back then. So we still have some writing. And then we definitely towards later transition to the digital part. So go millennials.
Yes, to millennials. Oh, well.
Wait a minute.
Save the best for last.
Just because okay, I get it. I'm the oldest one here. However, Gen X's are the best one in my opinion, okay? Because we're flexible, adaptable, and we're the bridge in between all of the generations. And we are indeed also a quick learner, and we're able to, again, learn a lot of new things. And we don't need YouTube, Google, or any other instructions. We do it ourselves. We figure them out and we do them right.
Yes, of course. I love everybody's differences. We have two millennials, we have Gen X. I'm the baby. I'm Gen Z, born in the 2000s. And I think what I love about Gen Z, from what I notice in my age group, is that a lot of us find light or humor in any situation. I feel like through a lot of laughter and jokes, even through things like online humor, it's a way for us to connect with each other just because we grew up with technology. So we all kind of have that understanding. So of course we have our differences when it comes to generations. So with that, what does a generation gap mean to you all? Anybody can answer.
To me, it's about like almost nurture because it's environment influence, like from history to what's been happening socially, even resources, like in my time, earlier time, we didn't have internet. Well, we have like dial-up that
It takes forever.
Like waiting, and all of a sudden somebody calls and then it got cut.
AOL.
But
yes, AOL.
because of what resources you have to make use of it. And for me, even like with even conversations, or like trying to like communicate with someone, I still like phone calls. So based on how you were comfortable, I guess, mainly. But all that is because of environment influence. Is that what I think with regards to the generation gap?
Yes, just a lot of differences. And like about the dial-up, that just surprises me. Like I've never like had to experience that. So just hearing that is like not a culture shock. Is that a generation shock? Like that's so like that's crazy.
You should try one time. I bet you're not gonna have that patience to like, come on.
How about Melvie, Jill? What does a generation gap mean to you guys?
I would say to me, a generation gap is when people of different ages kind of see the world a little bit differently through different lenses. Like, for example, I'm millennial. So if I had like some millennial goggles, or if there was with a Gen Z or anybody, they have different set of lenses of how they really perceive the world, whether by the ways they communicate, things that they prioritize, what we define as like success.
It's those difference that can either divide us or, intentional also learn from each other. So that's kind of what I believe what generation gap looks like.
Oh,
Yes.
I agree. Yeah. I agree with both of them because when it comes to technology and even the social aspect in terms of how you approach things in life, the way you do things, the way you act, your mannerisms, the gadgets in front of you, how you operate stuff. And just like with Melanie, that dial, I could never forget. I
Oh
never
my
knew
god.
what impatient was until we experienced that. And now the speed of internet and the evolution of technology as well as the communication aspect in life, it's just amazing how we've come such a long way.
And we had a live example tonight. So
Yes.
and how
Oh,
it
that's so
was when you
true.
connect
No
through
wonder Caitlin
AOL,
couldn't stand
talk to
it.
our friends.
Caitlin's like, oh my god. No, but
Just like twiddling my
I
fingers.
know.
We asked, are we
and,
there yet? There we go. We found
and
something like a
Millie's like,
common
oh, just
ground.
chill, just like waiting.
Like, oh, this feels familiar.
All right. So, speaking of generation gaps, our whole topic for tonight is bridging those gaps between generations. So, we all have our various differences and strengths. And I feel like instead of using that as a divider or barrier, we can use it as an opportunity to understand each other. So, why is it important to you all? Why it's important to bridge the gap between those generations?
I think, we want to create strong relationships, especially within family. In order to do that, we have to be able to meet in the middle because of the different influences and what we learn growing up. Sometimes we tend to stick to what we're very familiar with and not really realizing that, hey, maybe we need to kind of also understand the generation, like for you, Kaylin, with the Gen Z, because technically I don't want to be like revealing my age, but like, you could be like a daughter to me or something like
We're all young at heart. You, yes.
As long as you don't look it.
just kidding.
Exactly, right, Jill? As long as we don't look it.
That's so gorgeous. What did we all say last week? Well, yeah.
Beautiful.
I would say for it's vital to bridge the gap because every generation has something valuable to contribute. So, with history, older generation, I love talking to, I don't want to say old, but older generations just because they bring so much wisdom and experience. I like hearing about their stories, of their upbringings, while younger generations also bring, fresh ideas. Like Caitlin keeps all of us young with new ideas and keeps us up to date with pop culture or whatever's out there. So I feel like bridging the gap, it's not that one is better than the other, but bridging the gap allows us to create that balance and then keep moving forward without losing what's important from the past.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree because think about it this way. If we were all the same ages, the same groups, wouldn't that be kind of boring?
Oh, true.
There's really nothing to learn. We can't learn from each other. If anything, we're just on the same page every minute, every second, every year of our lives. So just like what Jill and Melanie mentioned, I too love to learn between the older generations, my age group, and also the younger ones, because like what Jill mentioned too, that everybody has something good to offer. And
Mhm.
everyone is unique in their own ways. And when you meet people from different generations, it's not the older ones, if you notice, they're so wise. And when they come from the older generations, they bring something on the table that we sometimes some of them don't it doesn't even exist anymore. They don't exist
Mhm.
anymore. So we end up learning from it and then research upon it. And then we're like, oh, how come we're not doing this right now? And it's still somewhat applicable. And then the young ones, even though we don't understand them most of the time, we still want to learn them in order to build that better communication amongst each other, and
Mhm.
above all, build trusting relationships to have better lives. And if we really think about it, to make this world a better place, we all need to get along together at some point, no matter what differences or no matter how different we are from each other.
Yeah, like what I mentioned, it's even though we have a lot of differences, instead of making it as division, I feel like it all the more unites us because of course, we're all in different age groups and different generations, but we can always learn something from each other. And personally, I love talking to people, whether it be people in the same age group as me, younger than me, older than me. There's always something to learn from each generation. Do you guys think so?
Yes. And, Caitlin, I truly admire the baby boomers. I mean, my parents were baby boomers, and I just see all the hard work that they put through, especially when it came to bringing us here. They had to work hard, sacrifice in order for them to be able to fulfill that dream. They call it like the American dream, because once you're here, life should be able to be a little bit much more comfortable versus being in a third world country. So I want to say a shout out to all the baby boomers, especially those who work really hard so that they can fulfill that American dream to be here. And now we are here fulfilling that dream. And so now it's our turn, I think, in our generation that's here today to fulfill a different kind of dream. What do you guys think?
That's a beautiful response. My heart is touched. Oh, I love that so much. I was just gonna say, like, I would love to admire and acknowledge the older generations. For me, especially baby boomers, they bring so much wisdom to the table. The baby boomers in my life, they are fantastic storytellers. Like my grandpa on my mom's side and my own dad, they would always tell me stories from their childhood and how it helped them to become more faithful and resilient and make them become the person they are today, and how throughout the years they carry those life lessons with us and they teach it to their children and to their grandchildren, and so on and so forth. And I admire and love the older generation so much. So what other generations would you guys like to shout out?
All of them.
All of
Yes.
them.
All of them. I am not going to be. I mean, I can say Gen X, but no, no, it's everyone really.
Honestly, though, with Gen Zs, one thing I really love about the Gen Z is they know how to appreciate self love.
Hmm.
That's what I've noticed. Like they know how to take care of themselves. Like if it's something that's gonna stress them, they know how to like, okay, I want to step back because I want to be able to keep my mind at peace, you know. And so I think that it is true. Every generation contributes to the best of all of our worlds, especially like in our faith, our values, our morals. I think we just need to be able to really understand each other, not just think that, oh, our generation is better than others.
Yes, absolutely. How about you guys? What do you guys think?
I agree.
I feel like with our generations, we kind of build upon each other, kind of like what Melanie said. It's all about learning and loving. I feel like nowadays, I don't know, like when I see in social media, I feel like it's always like a battle between generations for some reason, just like a bunch of constant comparison. And I know it's good to see how far we've come, but I feel like if we kind of just lessen the comparison and like the battles between generations, I feel like we would all be a lot more happier, because I feel like when we accept our differences and even see the similarities, we can learn to work a lot more together. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, I agree on that one. Instead of thinking, oh, let's just turn this into a competition, why not make it a team effort and
Mhm.
make all of our lives so much easier by lending a helping hand, by doing what's right, and always believing in what you can do and contribute, not get in the way of things and start comparing. Because once you start comparing, really, in my honest opinion, there's no comparison between generations, just because every generation is different. Just like in life, right? We transition from one decade to another. There's so many changes that we have to undergo in life. And again, I always say this in every show that we have, it's a matter of choice. What is it that you want to choose? Would you want to better your life and get along with people, or would you be the negative person and not do anything about it and just do your own thing in your own world? That's not growth at all. And here on Valley Grown, we're all about growth, acceptance, and seeing obstacles as challenges and not hindrances.
I agree. I agree with both of it, with all of you actually. So as we already mentioned, baby boomers, we've learned from their hard work. which also transferred over to the millennials, who I feel like millennials also value a lot of experiences over material things. It could be everybody, but from what I've experienced and observed with other millennials, but also with Gen Z, I feel like I also learn a lot from them. The creativity. One thing that I do appreciate is, some older generations may believe that the highest level of success is through education, or whatever degree you have is always, either go to college, or that's what they truly define as success, when others could go different routes. And I definitely appreciate from generations that do kind of break that, and following the paths of what they want to do. So I learned from, in order to move forward, we have to appreciate and embrace the past of where we came from, and just keep moving forward.
Yes.
And if you really think about it, we influence the next generation, right? Because, like, for example, as a parent, I influence my daughter who's a Gen Z, and I have another daughter who's a Gen Alpha. So, I mean, we're the ones who's trying to mold the next generation. So I think we really have to be able to be open. So as an older generation, to those who are younger, and be able to help them so that they'll continue to do and follow the morals and the values that we uphold, especially in our Christian faith.
Yes, absolutely. And I also would like to acknowledge Gen Alpha now that Melanie mentioned it. We've been talking about Boomer, X, Millennial, Gen Z. I can't forget about Gen Alpha. I know they're one of the youngest generations right now, but I work a lot with Gen Alpha, and I love seeing how fast that they can problem solve with the amount of resources that they have, textbooks, technology, mostly technology, right? But I love seeing how quick that they can pick up things. And I think Gen Z passed on, I guess, their creativity to Gen Alpha as well, and Gen Alpha to the next generation, and so on. And I just love seeing everything that each generation has learned and bring it on to the next generation, and they learn from them, if that makes any sense.
One thing that popped into my head, it was the evolution of music. So that's something that I like nowadays you'll see not just like fashion, but also like a lot of music is now coming from different generations. And see, like, kids nowadays, they think like, oh, this is such a great song. It's like, actually, this beat came from, a year. So I love seeing the evolutions of different generations of music along the way.
That's a really great point. I feel like a lot of the music that I listen to now, it's influenced by like jazz, even like real old jazz, or like
instruments,
R&B, and I love it so much. What do you guys think?
Yes.
There are music though that I noticed that the Gen Z like, that which was played during the baby boomers time. Like I'm starting to hear that a lot. Like the Gen Z is like an old school, new generation kind. So that's why I think that's why I'm definitely I admire the Gen Zs. They are like the chill, but at the same time, I've seen also those who are so successful in this time, just like YouTube. You know what I mean? Like they're very creative with all these shows, and sometimes they do their own production, and it's just amazing to watch and see.
I know, and they always say work smart, not hard.
What is it?
You know what?
Work hard.
Why am I struggling with this when you can easily like 10 steps here, and then they condense it to 5 or
resources.
3 even. Yeah, there you go. Resources, exactly. And here I am still in dial-up tone trying to figure out.
Right? They don't. They know how to work smart.
And I tell myself, I cannot accept this. I need to learn more. I need to Google now.
And I love that. Right. As much as I love our conversation, as much as I love our laughter, I do want to ask one last question in your briefest response. How does our faith encourage us to work together across generations? I know we've kind of all talked about it, but bringing it all together with our faith, how does it encourage us to work together?
I think that's the very main common denominator that we all share. So then that brings us to be able to, we could have all these ideas, all these things that we can communicate about or tackle. But then at the end of the day, that's what keeps us in line, because that's our compass. We call it like the moral compass of what we do or how we live this life.
Absolutely. Melvi, what do you think?
So when Melanie said compass, I can think of so faith, then compass, and with the compass we start to believe and we don't question. And from that, so you have faith, compass, believe, and then now finally the grit. With grit, you can basically do anything, whatever it is that you want in your life.
Absolutely wonderful. Jill, what about you?
I would say I definitely do agree, especially when we use when Melanie mentioned that we all have a common denominator. So faith teaches us that we are one, but with many different parts, and each part is important. And I'll end with that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I feel like with our faith, despite what generation we come from, we all must uphold values of kindness and faithfulness. So our differences shouldn't divide us, but all the more unite us. And I think that about does it for our show. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Thank you. I would like to acknowledge our Vine chat. I'm so sorry we couldn't get to your comments today, but we love and appreciate the support that you continuously give to Valley Grown. And with that, we would like to give our closing remarks and deepest thanks to our INC radio station manager, Brother Wally Taray, our Deputy Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Irano V. Manalo, and our Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Again, Jill, Melvi, Melanie, thank you so much for being such amazing and lovely co-hosts. And thank you all for your support. And we will see you again next week on Valley Grown, presented by INC Radio Central Valley, California. Catch us again next Friday at 9 p.m. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Everyone.
Thank you again.
Bye.
Don't forget
Have
to
a great
like,
weekend.
subscribe,
Circle.
and share.
Thank
We
you.
love you. You guys are all
Yeah,
beautiful.
to hit the like button,
and
please.
gorgeous.
Good night.
Good
Love
night.
you.
Thank you for your patience.
Yes.
Thank you
Next
all.
time.